Hey everyone, and welcome to The Deep Dive. I'm Jack.
And I'm Elena.
You know, Elena, you help people build good habits every single day.
Yes, I do. I help them to make good choices each day.
So today, we are going to take a deep dive into something super important. We're going to talk about how to be consistent.
And disciplined. Those two go together.
That's right. Consistency means doing something over and over and over again. Discipline means making yourself do what is right.
It is important to be consistent and disciplined.
I agree, and it can be tough. But it's so important if we want to reach our goals.
Especially those big goals, the ones that take a long time.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. How can we be more consistent, and what is the first step?
Well, the first step is to change how you think about discipline.
To change how we think.
Yes. Many people think of discipline as a bad thing, like it's a punishment.
Yeah, I get that. Discipline can feel hard, like we're missing out on fun stuff.
Exactly. But what if we change that? What if we thought of discipline as self-love?
Self-love, that's a big idea. Can you explain it?
Sure. Self-love means you care about yourself. You want the best for yourself.
Oh, I see.
Like if you love someone, you want them to be happy and healthy, right?
Yeah, of course.
You want them to eat good food, to move their body, to exercise. You want them to make good choices.
That makes sense.
It is the same for you. If you love yourself, you make good choices for yourself. You choose discipline because you want to be your best self.
I get it. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a way to show love for ourselves.
Yes, that's it exactly.
Okay, so we need to change our mindset. We need to think of discipline as self-love. What else can we do to be more consistent?
We need to accept that sometimes the work is going to be boring.
Boring.
Yeah, boring. It is not always going to be fun and exciting, but it is important to do it anyway.
I understand. For example, I like to have a clean closet, but I don't enjoy the actual process of cleaning it.
I hear you. A lot of people feel the same way. We like the result, but not the work to get there.
So what can we do? How can we make those boring tasks more appealing?
Well, one way is to connect them to your values. A value is something that is important to you, like honesty, kindness. Those are values.
Right. Or maybe you value peace or order.
Exactly. So if you value order, then cleaning your closet can be seen as a way to create more peace and order in your life.
This is interesting. It's not just about cleaning. It's about what the cleaning represents.
You got it. It's about the bigger picture, the bigger reason why you're doing the work.
You know, I'm really good at managing my finances. I love tracking my spending and seeing where my money goes.
That's great.
I think it's because I see it as a game. Like, can I spend less this month than last month?
That's a great way to make it fun, turning it into a game or a challenge. Even Olympic athletes get bored sometimes.
Olympic athletes.
Really? They train every single day. They do the same exercises over and over. It can definitely get boring, but they stick with it.
Because they know that consistency is what makes them champions.
Exactly.
So we need to find a way to enjoy the work, even if it's not always thrilling, or we at least have to find a way to accept it.
Right. And we also need to be careful not to trick ourselves.
Trick ourselves? What do you mean?
Sometimes we do things that feel productive but don't actually help us reach our goals.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Remember how you said you're good at managing your finances?
Yeah.
Well, I'm also pretty good at keeping track of my money, but I have a confession. I love buying organizers, folders, boxes, labels, you name it.
Oh, I get it. Organizers can be helpful, but they can also be a distraction.
Exactly. A distraction means it takes our attention away from what's really important.
I'd say.
You can have all the fancy organizers in the world, but if you don't actually use them to organize your stuff, they're not really helping.
That's so true. I have a ton of organizers, but my desk is still a mess sometimes.
It happens, so the organizers become the focus instead of the actual act of organizing.
It's like we're doing something that feels like progress, but it's not real progress.
Exactly.
This is important. We need to be honest with ourselves. Are we really working towards our goals, or are we just distracting ourselves with things that feel good but don't actually move us forward?
That is a great question to ask yourself. Welcome back to our deep dive on consistency and discipline.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Elena.
So, Elena, we were talking about the importance of mindset, thinking about discipline as self-love.
Right, because when we love ourselves, we want to take care of ourselves.
And we talked about how sometimes the work we need to do to reach our goals can be boring.
Yeah, it can be. But remember, even boring work can get us closer to our goals.
Do you have any tips or tricks to help us stay motivated and do the work even when it's not very exciting?
I do. Let's start with a really simple one. It's called the 5-minute rule.
Simple is good. I like simple.
Okay, so you pick a task, anything you need to do.
Like cleaning my desk.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Then you set a timer for 5 minutes.
The timer.
Yeah, like on your phone or a kitchen timer. It just helps you keep track of time.
Okay, I can do that.
You set the timer for 5 minutes and you work on that task.
Rate only for 5 minutes.
Yep, just 5 minutes. But here's the interesting part. Often you'll find that once you start working on something, even if it's boring, you'll want to keep going, even after the timer goes off.
Really? Why is that?
It's because of something called the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect. That's a big word.
It is. Basically, it means our brains don't like unfinished things.
Unfinished things.
Yeah, like imagine you start reading a really good book, but then you have to stop before you get to the end.
Your brain keeps thinking about the book and wanting to know what happened.
Exactly. It's the same with tasks. If you start cleaning your desk, your brain wants you to finish it.
That's so cool.
It is. So the 5-minute rule is a great way to just trick yourself into getting started.
And once we start, we're more likely to finish.
Right. Okay, another trick is to use a calendar.
A calendar.
Yep, simple calendar. Most people use calendars to keep track of appointments, right?
Right.
Well, you can also use it to track your progress towards your goals.
Track my progress.
Yes. So let's say your goal is to drink more water every day. Every day that you drink enough water, you put a big X on that day on your calendar.
I could use a fun sticker instead of an X.
Even better. The point is to create a visual reminder of your progress. You're trying to build a chain of successful days.
And you don't want to break the chain.
Exactly. It's a simple but powerful way to stay motivated.
I like that. It's like a visual reminder of how consistent I'm being.
And seeing that progress can really boost your motivation to keep going.
This is great. Okay, do you have any other tricks up your sleeve?
I do. How about rewards?
Rewards. I love rewards.
Me too. Rewards are fun, and they make us feel good. And when we feel good, we're more likely to repeat the behavior that got us the reward.
So how can we use rewards to be more consistent?
Well, let's say your goal is to write every day.
Okay.
You could decide that if you write every day for a week, then you'll reward yourself with a new book, or a special meal, or anything that you enjoy.
I like that. It gives you something to look forward to.
Exactly. It's like a little celebration for being consistent.
And it doesn't have to be a big reward. Even something small can be motivating.
That's right. It's all about finding what works for you.
Okay, so we've got the 5-minute rule, the calendar trick and rewards. Any others?
Okay, this last one is from a famous comedian named Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, I know Jerry Seinfeld. He's really funny.
He is. And he has a very simple method for being consistent. He uses a calendar too.
Like the calendar trick we talked about.
Yep, same idea. He calls it don't break the chain. Every day that he writes jokes, he marks it on his calendar.
He doesn't want to break the chain of successful days.
Exactly. And you can use this method for any goal. Want to drink more water? Don't break the chain. Want to exercise every day? Don't break the chain.
I love that. Simple and effective.
It is. And it can be kind of fun too.
This is all so helpful, Elena. I'm feeling really motivated to be more consistent now.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It's great to be back.
I'm Jack.
I'm Elena, and we're talking about consistency.
Yes. We've learned about having the right mindset, thinking of discipline as self-love.
Right. And we've talked about how important it is to actually do the work, even when it's not very exciting.
But sometimes, even when we know what we need to do, it's still hard to stay consistent.
I hear you. It's a common struggle.
Do you have any advice for those times when we know what to do, but we just don't do it?
I do. We can use something called a commitment contract.
A commitment contract. What's that?
It's like making a promise to yourself, but with a little extra motivation. You write down your goal, and then you write down what will happen if you don't reach your goal.
Like a consequence.
Exactly. But it doesn't have to be anything super serious, just something that you don't want to do.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say your goal is to exercise every day.
Okay.
You could write a contract that says, if I don't exercise today, I'll give my friend $10.
$10. That would definitely motivate me.
Right. It makes you think twice about skipping your workout.
I like that. It's like a little extra push to stay on track.
Exactly. It's all about finding ways to hold yourself accountable. Accountable means you're responsible for your actions.
Makes sense. Do you have any other tips for staying accountable?
Yes. You can find an accountability partner.
An accountability partner?
Yep. It's basically someone who helps you stay on track with your goals.
Oh, like a workout buddy.
Kind of. You tell your accountability partner about your goal, and then you check in with them regularly to let them know how you're doing.
I see.
They can offer encouragement and support and just help you stay motivated.
I like that. It's easier to stay focused when you know someone is cheering you on.
Absolutely. And sometimes just talking about your goals out loud to someone else can make them feel more real and more achievable.
Elena, this has been such a helpful conversation. I've learned so much about how to be more consistent.
I'm glad you found it useful. Remember, consistency is about progress, not perfection.
That's a great reminder. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to keep trying and keep moving forward.
Exactly. Every day is a new opportunity to build those good habits and get closer to our goals.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, Elena.
You're very welcome. I always enjoy our deep dives.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us. We hope you learned some helpful tips for being more consistent and disciplined in your own lives.
Remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time. So pick one thing you want to be more consistent with and start today.
That's great advice. Thanks again, Elena.
You're welcome, Jack.
And to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.